It's the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show here on YouTube. The real news and strong opinions given here. A platform to chop up game with the family, you dig?
What's good, people? What's good, people? Big Rich here from the Big Rich Live on the Mike Radio Show. I just don't know what else to say. You know, things keep happening, and it is what it is. It's actually Friday evening. I'm about to go to the movies with my lovely wife, and something came across my desk because I'm in my office rendering the show, the What's the Real Deal show. So it's going to go up a little bit later, but it will be up Friday night. So it's Friday evening, about to leave the house to go and watch a movie. And then either was going to come home tonight, depending on how late it was or how I felt, and shoot this show, the What's the Real Deal Saturday show, or do it tomorrow, or maybe not even do it because it's Memorial Day weekend, and you know I got a lot of stuff that I want to do around the house and stuff. But it came across my desk, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna do an impromptu Big Rich Live. So this will be the Saturday show. It'll go up, you know, it'll be up tomorrow, Saturday, or it should be when you see it now, or when you watching it now. It's actually Saturday, but it's not the typical show, and it's about somebody dying in police custody. And it's fresh. It just came out yesterday. I'm just hearing about it today. So I can't sit up here and say that, you know, a lot of people ask me about it. I'm just interjecting my own just expertise and just the way, you know, just stuff like this makes me feel. You know that I don't get on the radio here. I don't get on this show and, you know, dog out other cops and stuff. If I'm asked about it or I'm really passionate about it, then, you know, I'll definitely go head on because I'm not scared of anybody, you know. And I have no blind allegiance to other police officers because I was a police officer for 23 years and my uncle was a police officer for 26 years, 27 years at NYPD, and I have another uncle, you know, that was a corrections officer, and you know, most of my friends are police officers and stuff like that. But when this came across, my desk today, or just a few minutes ago, I really had to look into it a little bit more. And then I went to the Benjamin Dixon show, and he did like a 3 or 4 minute segment, if you will, on it. And it's this young brother. His name was Andrew Curse, and he died in custody, in police custody in upstate New York. And the whole problem about it is you know, I'm not going to get into why they was arrested or whatever, because it's really not available, you know, why they was arrested. But they was pulled over, him and a female friend. They were pulled over in upstate New York, and they was both arrested for some type of misdemeanor. And when Benjamin had said the name of the misdemeanor, it was obstructing official, some old craziness. You know, like I tell people, you know, there are catch-all charges in every state, every jurisdiction. And basically is I'm the cop and I say so. You know what I'm saying? You piss me off. I don't have anything specific that I could hit you with. So we get this ambiguity, if you will, this catch-all charge. You know, in Florida, it's called obstructing, you know, resisting, not obstructing. I'm sorry, resisting without violence. Well, what are you resisting? Oh, well, I was conducting an investigation, so you was resisting my investigation. That makes no sense. But it's that, you know, so again, I don't really know what the deal is, but that was the charge that came across. It was obstructing. So this happened May 11th. Said May 11th, I'm reading from progressivearmy.com. It says on May 11th, Susan Perry, 38, and her friend Andrew Kurtz were arrested by Schenectady Police Department in upstate New York after they tried to pull the couple over for a traffic violation. It's unclear why Kurtz and Perry ran out of their car, but Kurtz, a Bronx native, was recently released on parole after serving 2 years for on counts of grand larceny. Maybe they had weed in the car. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. The friend Perry told local reporters police didn't believe her when she told them that he, i.e. Kurtz, was having trouble breathing. I seen Andrew in the other car. The two officers were dragging him out of the car like an animal, she told reporters. And he was lying on the ground motionless. When I called his name multiple times, he didn't respond. He was looking up at the sky, not blinking, and motionless. En route, Kurtz complained of breathing problems and said he felt dizzy, a city police statement read. Upon arrival to the police department, he was unresponsive. Paramedics from Schenectady Fire Department was immediately called to render treatment. An investigation into the incident was handed over to the New York State Police Department and the state attorney general's offices presiding over the investigation. When Perry, Kurtz's friend, was being booked for a misdemeanor obstructing governmental administration, again, catch-all, she asked the police what was wrong with her friend. They told her he was faking. Nothing was wrong with him. That's what she told the reporters. According to Perry, 15 minutes later, paramedics was rushing in with a defibrillator. Kurtz received medical assistance eventually, but never regained consciousness. He was later declared deceased at a local hospital. His wife, Angelique Kurtz, I can't pronounce her last name, Norgrini Kurtz, told a local ABC affiliate she lost her best friend, soulmate. Kids were asking where their daddy is, what happened to daddy. This is, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but it was a neighbor who preferred not to be named, said Kurtz was dragging his feet and yelling that his leg hurt when he was taken into custody. The neighbors could not see anything preceding Kurtz's arrest, but said Kurtz was taken from the backyard by two officers, and it took all four to lift him into police vehicle. Now you go on, it says the Connecticut Police Department has a history of abuse and police brutality. In April 2016, 15 members of the department were defendants in a civil rights lawsuit stemming from a 2014 police brutality incident. Quote, "Get your effing black ass over here because I'm going to effing you up, or F you up." This was an officer allegedly said, according to the lawsuit. The settlement was reached in 2007 for undisclosed sums. The reason this stuff irritates me, at least this particular one, is somewhere in our discourse, somewhere, it has to be from federal, but somewhere in there, we have to be held to a higher standard. We as police officers and guards, let me tell you something. This the deal is. Last time I checked, there is no damn, and I'm sort of upset, so forgive me. Matter of fact, let me get this is my little shirt. This little shirt there. It's looking like I'm ghettoized and everything. But there is no, last time I checked, there is no draft to force you to be a police officer. There's no draft to force you to be a corrections officer. You understand, just like I did 23, almost 24 years ago, that this job is inherently dangerous, and there's going to be a lot of people who either don't like you or don't want to be bothered with you. They don't want to go, they don't want to be pulled over, they don't want to get a ticket, they don't want to go to jail. This is stuff that you know beforehand. When you are a corrections officer, you understand that you're in there locked up with criminals. A lot of them are falsely accused. A lot of them were convicted, wrongfully convicted by all white juries, you know, police misconduct and all that type of stuff. So even though they're not criminals per se, they're still angry, and they might even be more angry because they know they didn't do it, and this is a setup. They've been set up. So you understand that when you go in there, you're going to deal with the dregs of society. You're going to deal with some people who might actually be in there that are innocent and have now become homicidal, suicidal because they've been given triple life for no reason. You understand that there might be a chance that you might get hurt and or killed in your chosen profession. You choose to be a police officer. I chose to be a police officer. You choose to be a correctional officer. All of this bullshit about, you know, there's a war against blue and, you know, we need to be, you know, we need to support, you know, our police officers, and we need to make these laws to make people, because basically what you're doing is you're making laws to make people respect the unrespectable. That's what you're doing. That's what you're trying to do. In 23 years, according to my recollection, there was only one in custody death that I can really think of. Now, could have happened when I was on vacation. Could have happened when I was off. It could have happened, you know, when I was sick, whatever. I don't know, but I know exactly one. And that was a guy, a Caucasian gentleman that was on PCP or something like that, you know, went to fighting, wind up, you know, got handcuffed, put into the back of the patrol car. The windows was rolled up. He was laying on his stomach, and he wound up having a heart attack, and he expired. Okay. All of this in custody, they say they thought that he was faking. You know how many times I've made arrests? I've made more than 1,000 arrests. I'm not going to sit up here and say thousands of arrests because my last 5 years, I did more talking than arresting. And the 6 years before that, I was actually an instructor. So I didn't have to make arrests. I would do more talking and more teaching and helping people than actually putting them in jail and making arrests. But prior to that, my first 13 years, especially on midnights, I ran them in. You know what I'm saying? So I've made about 1,000 arrests in 23 years. Okay, maybe a little bit less, give or take 100, whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. There's been plenty of times where somebody would sit up there and say that they stomach hurt, they eye hurt, they leg hurt, and all this type. And I'd be like, look, if you want me to go to the hospital, I'll go to the hospital. What's going to happen is you're going to be there all day and you still going to jail. But if you want some medical attention, let me know now. Don't get down to the jail and then decide that you want to screw with the jail people, or you think you're going to screw with me. And now when they ask you, is anything wrong with you, you say, oh, yeah, I got this, I got that, I got this. Because, you know, technically by policy, if you bring in a suspect, an arrestee, and they say that they having heart problems or whatever, they're going to check them out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have a nurse, because that's who's asking, the nurse. The nurse at the nurse's station is asking, you know, so they'll check them out and they'll be like, ain't nothing wrong with you. You know, I mean, your blood pressure is fine. You know, heart rate is fine. Your breathing is fine. You're fine. You know, but they'll also put that in that chart and then they'll monitor that. But I have never sat up there and heard somebody say, look, I'm having problems breathing, or I'm feeling dizzy and lightheaded, and did not call somebody. Because let me tell you one goddamn thing. Unless you have a PhD after your name in the medical field, or you have taken paramedic classes and because we all took first responder classes, but paramedic classes, because let me tell you something, most paramedics, if it's something big, they got to call the hospital and get a doctor to be like, no, they're fine. Or yeah, force them, bring them inside. So unless you have that, don't sit up there and tell me, oh, well, I thought, or this person is faking. Who, excuse my French, is going to come out next, but who in the fuck do you think you are that you could make that determination. The fact of the matter is, this person, whether you want to sit up there and say, oh, well, this person's a third bag because he was on probation and all that type of stuff, who gives a shit? When does being found guilty of a crime where you did some police time, I'm sorry, not police time, when you've done some prison time, when did that constitute you not being treated with any type of, with a modicum of civility, of passion? You don't know how many times I hear this crap. Oh, well, you know, ain't nothing wrong with him. Dude, okay, you got to go home. You got an off-duty job. You having a bad day. Well, you know what? If you about something, you really got to go home, you call your supervisor, you call your SWAT member, or you be like, look, Sarge, you know, I got off duty, I got this to do, or I got a splitting headache, but this person has to, you know, I arrested this person, and this person has to go to the hospital because they're saying they, you know, I'm calling OFD. I mean, can you get some midnights to tag me out? Yeah, you're going to be a little bit late, but you could do that. To sit up there and arbitrarily, oh, well, this person is faking it, and you have no medical degree, you have no medical knowledge of this person, is bullshit. But see, the thing is, you remember when I said a couple of weeks ago, when I said racism and bigotry and all that stuff and police brutality as a whole, I'm talking about as far as, you know, people coming up shooting unarmed people, will stop when good white folks decide that is enough and they rise up and make it stop. This is not going to stop until not jail time. Not jail time. No. Not jail time. This is not going to stop until you sue the hell out of the officers and they start losing their pensions. They start losing their savings. They start having liens put on their cars and their houses. That's when the shit'll stop. Because we've already seen that in a criminal way, in a criminal point, it's almost impossible to convict certain officers for certain things. You notice I say certain officers because you have on one end in the same state within the last year, 2 white officers shoot an unarmed black suspect, and I'm going to call him a suspect. They don't get charged, but 2 black officers mistakenly shoot a child that was put in a bad position in the situation by his funky daddy, who was a felon, who initiated all of this stuff. They're doing 40 years. So depending on who you are, you know, you might get convicted or you might not. But I digress. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this type of stuff here where you have a situation where cops, corrections officers, not necessarily in this case with the corrections officers, but there's been plenty of corrections officers. There's been plenty times and instances in prisons. I mean, what's the biggest thing in the national news now when you talk about prisons? You talking about Sheriff Coon Clark. Yes, that's what I call him, a straight coon, a hateful man. People are dying in his jails. One died of dehydration of thirst. Really? Lady gave birth to a baby and the baby died because of lack of service, lack of humanity. This is what I like to ask people, and this is what I've asked you guys on a couple of occasions. This is what I've asked my former brothers and sisters in blue. What would you do if, just say for some reason, this city and the budget falls out of it? They can no longer pay. So they got to start laying off. Because a couple of years back, maybe 5-10 years back, they was talking about it. It never got to fruition, obviously, and it never got close. But we had union meetings. that last hired, first fired. So what happens to you if you lose your job and you can't find one immediately? What happens? Okay, I got some savings. Okay, what happens when the savings runs out? Oh, well, they laid me off, so I'm getting assistance, unemployment. Okay, what happens when the unemployment runs out? You have no goddamn idea. Because if you have a situation where a lot of cops have, is where they're making all the money, they're doing the breadwinning. The mom, the wife is home, homeschooling the kids, that type of stuff right there. And you lose your job. What are you willing to do? Sheriff Clark, who you think that criminals are scum? The rest of these cats, what are you willing to do to put food on the table to feed your kids and your wife? What are you willing to do? Think about that. Most of us that are not the 1% are 1, 2, maybe 3 paychecks from losing everything, from going out and possibly robbing people. I know when you say robbing and all that type of stuff there, that's way down the line, but still, really think about it. Just be honest with yourself. And the reason I ask that is if shit don't go your way and for some reason you have a string of bad luck, you throughout all of that might be in the same goddamn position that this guy cursed and the rest of them people were, where you had to do something that was drastic to keep food on the table and you got caught. And now you're in the system. So let me tell you something. And I was one of them that used to look down at people. I told you before, ain't no shame in my game. I was that type of person that would ride through some of the streets on the east side, on the west side, in the number streets, and look at these cats, look at these people, the least of these, and be like, man, get a job, do something. I used to be that type of person. I used to be that person. I used to be that cop. One thing I never did, I never mistreated anybody, but I'm talking about the conversation that I would have with myself when I was in my cruiser. So what I say is, when does the morality kick in? Somebody is telling you that they're hurting. Somebody's telling you that they're feeling dizzy. Somebody's telling you that they can't breathe. You know what I used to always do? Always. I don't care if it was an arrest, if it was a traffic crash. I don't care if we just finished knock down, drag out, where you tried to kill me. You tried to hurt me. We work in the club, somebody drunk, they mad, they high, they trying to hurt me. After it was all said and done, you ask anybody that I have arrested, what do I say? First thing I say is, sir or ma'am, are you okay? Do you need medical attention? I have no problem getting on that radio and say, headquarters, can you send OFD, conscious and breathing, saying that, their ankle hurt or they can't breathe. And if you say anything about your heart, you say anything that you can't breathe, I'm sitting you up. If you in the car, I'm gonna be like, hey, kick your legs out. Don't get out the car, but kick your legs out so you can let them hang and lean out a little bit and soak up some of this air. And I stay right there with them until OFD get to 97. And I say, OFD, which is Orlando Fire Department, and I say 1097, that means they're at the scene. I explain the situation. Now it's up to them. They the medical experts. If they tell me that he or she is fine to go, cool. Can I get a run number? That just basically covers my ass. CYA. I put them in there. Hey, when I get down, I say, hey, the person was complaining about this, that, and the third. OFD, here it is. They signed them off. Boom, 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 boom. I do that. I don't sit around there and be, even if I know that the person is acting, is faking, it is not up to me to sit up there and deny this person medical attention. Now, I am already going to do a different show probably next week when we talk about accountability. I'll end my show because like I said, this is impromptu and we got to get ready to go. So I apologize if it's less than what it normally is, but I'm looking now, it's almost 25 minutes. So I've been rambling, so it's pretty good. When the state, and when I mean the state, I'm not just talking about just each 50 state. I'm talking about the state. So that's the government, period. When the government takes your privileges, when they take your person, they own you. What that means is they should be required to protect you. They should be required to make sure that you leave that prison system just like you came in. So if you went in there with all 5 fingers and toes, you haven't been raped before in your life, you haven't been extorted, you haven't been beat up, that's how the hell you should leave. Don't give me that crap, oh, well, you know, we got 3,000 inmates and 150 guards and we can't see everything all the time. Huh? Think about this. This is what I think about. Think about this. You have schools, right? Say, because my school I'm from New York, went to school at Harry S. Truman. We had, if I'm not mistaken, we had like 6,000 to 7,000 students because we had seven stories above ground, and then we had 2 basements. Okay, and the lower basement, we had 2 Olympic-sized pools. You know what I'm saying? In our high school, right? So let's just say let's just go in the low end and say we have 5,000 students in that building. It's only one building. It was one building. It's not like it is down here in Florida where you have a main building and a whole bunch of pods. One building, right? We had 2 cops for, school resource officers. Let's just say the faculty was 100, 150 people. Your child goes to that high school and your child late for class because they had to stop at a one class, got outside they classroom, ran down the hallway. They on the 7th floor, their class is on the 4th floor. Instead of taking the elevator, they go down the staircase and they get jumped, either beat up or, God forbid, raped. Are you telling me that you're going to be like, oh, well, it's 5,000 students. It's only 150 faculty, 2 cops. We can't see everything all the time. That's cool with you. That's fine with you. Oh, okay, no problem. Hell no, I know it wouldn't be. You would be like, y'all have got to be out your goddamn mind if y'all think that I'm going to go for that. But what you're saying by your silence is that is not acceptable. But the same shit that would happen in prison or jail is. Why? What's the difference? What's the difference? One is your child. One is a child. The other one, we didn't even go into adult prison. Let's just go to juvenile jail. And they get jumped in juvenile jail too. It's the difference. If you are a moral person, you understand, say, look, you did the crime, so you got to do the time. The time is hard labor. The time is taking your freedom. The time is not you being extorted, raped, and or killed by other inmates and or the guards. How in the hell, and this just shows you how stupidly corrupt the whole justice system is, because they have blinded you to the fact, they have sold you so much crap that you actually believe that that's cool, that these people are getting brutalized. You think about it, some of these prisons are so stacked. You have multiple killers in there with somebody who stole a 4K TV when it first came out, when it was like $3,000, $4,000, right? So that's a felony. That's a felony. Okay, so I got 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever for this. It's my second offense. So you done put me, I stole a TV from the warehouse for Best Buy. You gonna put me in the same prison with somebody that killed 4 or 5 people. And it's cool, whatever happens. Man, let me get up out of here, man. Shoot, before I already got the 15-minute shot from my wife, and now it's like 4 minutes before we got to walk outside the door. So it's impromptu. We'll talk about it. We'll chop it up. Leave your comments down below. You guys know my social media. Matter of fact, I want you guys to let me know what y'all think about these, because this is the 3rd show that I've done it. I sort of like it, and I actually stole it from Benjamin Dixon. Sorry, bro. I mean, you know, when you rolling, when you trying to roll with the big dogs in the big pen, you got to do what they do. So let me know as far as that, because I'm figuring that when on the shows that I actually forget to give you guys my social media, it'll always be down here. So let me know what you guys think. So in the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay safe. Please stay safe. Stay woke. Peace. And I'm out of here. Have a safe, wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. We will be doing the movie review. All right, peace.